At 11, 4 more years for Detroit Mayor Mike Duggan.
Voters are rewarding him with a resounding vote of confidence for yet another term. Let's take a look at the numbers right now. He beat challenger Coleman A. Young II by a margin of more than 2-1.
We have team coverage tonight along with constantly updated results at the bottom of your screen. We're going to begin with 7 Action News reporter Jim Kirchner live at Duggan's Victory headquarters. What a night, Jim.
Yeah, Carolyn and Stephen, the mayor, the new mayor, again for another 4 years, just came down to talk with us. He's talking with reporters right now, and I'm going to try to get in here and get a question in. He's finishing up a question.
You have the opportunity to be successful.
Mayor, we're on live right now. Tell our audience, how do you feel tonight, your second 4 years?
You know, I'm just so deeply appreciative to the people of the city of Detroit. They took a chance on me 4 years ago. And they've just been enormously supportive through a pretty wild 4 years. And then I could have never imagined a margin like this. When we started out, our pollsters were saying you might be able to get to 60, 62%. Now it looks like it's going to be 72%. It's just overwhelming.
That's a landslide. That's a strong message. Wouldn't you agree?
You know, I think people want me to keep working hard. I think they feel really good about the team that's running the city administration. And we're going to keep going.
What do you do next? What's
by such a wide margin?
You know, I don't really think in terms of what will the margin be. I think in terms of making things a little better every single day. And so you saw during the campaign, I was doing the same things I've been doing for 4 years. We were improving the parks. We were getting the streets fixed. We were getting businesses to come into town. And I think the public appreciated that. I think if there's one thing I heard every place I went was people were appreciative of how hard I was working. I think that came through. And even when you screw up, when you're working hard, they tend to give you credit.
One last question before we go live. What was more difficult for you, engineering this victory or driving the city after bankruptcy 4 years ago?
Oh, there's no doubt that 4 years ago it was such a difficult situation. You had to recruit people to run a police department and a fire department and a parks department and a bus system in a city that was in bankruptcy. That was challenging and exhausting. Now we're into the prospect of just rebuilding the city, and I think this next 4 years is going to be a lot of fun.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
So there you have it, Mike Duggan, another 4 years, margin of victory, 71, 72%. They were talking earlier, this is the largest margin of victory in a mayoral race in the city of Detroit in 20 years, 1997. The largest victory, largest margin then was for Dennis Archer over Ed Vaughn, 83%, but 71, 72%, a very strong message here tonight. Live downtown, Jim Kirchner, 7 Action News.
So right about that, Jim. Certainly a resounding yes, and with that big crowd and a lot of big names on that stage with him, happy to see him back in office for 4 more years.
Our team coverage continues now. Simon Shaquette, where Duggan's opponent, Coleman Young II, has conceded that election. Simon?
Stephen, Carolyn, Coleman Young Jr., you see some of his supporters still out here. He talked about just how hard fought of a battle this was, and supporters here very loyal, staying by his side. And we're live at the Southern Fire Bistro and Lounge. In fact, if you can zoom past me, you can see there's still quite a few people out here. Now, the senator talked about standing up for Detroiters, following in the footsteps of his father, Mayor Coleman Young. In his concession speech, he talked about not giving up the fight to make the city safer, improve quality of life in the neighborhoods, and he certainly gave back love to those who backed him. Take a listen.
I just want to say again to everybody that's out there, I thank you. Yes. I appreciate you. Yes. This has been a hard fight. Right over there at 18963 Livernois. That little small office that was filled with cigarette butts and pizza.
Certainly an emotional concession speech, very emotional, and despite losing, Senator Young says this is just the beginning for all of us to continue working towards a better future for Detroit. Live on Detroit's East Side, Simon Shaquette, 7 Action News.
Simon, thank you for the live report. Let's take a look.